From design to music and music videos, apps, prints, and more, Claire Evans and Jona Bechtolt of the band YACHT are masters of many trades. Today we'll hear what they're working on, including the restoration of LA's Triforium, which is the largest, most expensive musical instrument ever built. Right now on Make It. Claire and Jona, thank you so much for joining me. It's really awesome to have you guys here. And
Great to be here.
Thanks
for having us.
Yeah, and I've been dying to talk to you both because really you have so many different creative outlets where you apply your vision, your talent, whether it's music, making apps, doing some other crazy things, but fundamentally it really started with music. And I thought maybe you could kind of tell us how your group YACHT came together in its origins and sort of how that kind of bloomed and blossomed into all these other things that you've been doing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. YACHT started as a solo project of mine in 2002. Met Claire in 2004, 5?
Yeah, 2004.
We were in different bands. She was in a band called Weirdo Bagirdo. It was like a noise band out of Los Angeles.
Okay. And yours at the time was kind of more punk focused, or was it a bit of electronic
Yeah, I think that's generous, but
right.
It was just
punk
weird.
aesthetic, but
it wasn't really anything.
Yeah.
It was
He was using the laptop like a punk instrument.
Sure.
As someone who saw shows of that era, I can say it was.
I had a lack of respect for the laptop, so
I like that.
it was.
Okay.
I made a point never to touch it while playing with my hands, but
Right.
I would kick it around.
Right.
So Claire and I played a show together at a gallery in LA in 2005, and that's when we first met.
That's true, yeah. In fact, we had a band meeting the day after that show where we all sat around and talked about how we could be more like YACHT.
Oh.
Because it was really
Nicest thing anyone's ever said.
Right.
one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. And I mean that in the most positive of terms.
Thanks.
He was just like manipulating these irrelevant objects. Like he had an oven mitt on the ground and everyone was like, is the oven mitt meaningful? Why is he touching it so much? He's touching it like in sync with the music. Does the oven mitt do something? It was like, it raised more questions than
That's right.
and we thought it was so cool and strange. But yeah, I eventually weaseled my way into the band some years later.
Now, so out of this though, because again, there's also this visual side, not only in like your album covers and things, but I mean, even in the way that you use color in some of your videos on YouTube. So did either of you sort of do any work in any kind of formal design type way? I mean, you have a very definitive look and style that accompanies the sounds that you're making.
It's always been something that we're interested in, just because, you know, music is a compelling pursuit in life, but there's more to life than music. Right. And for both of us, I mean, I'm a writer, Jona has the strong design sensibility. We have a lot of other skills we can bring to the table. Right. And if this band, this thing is our sort of, it's like our baby. We give everything we can so we can raise it right.
That's right.
We give our best.
That's right.
All of our skills. And if I can write a really cool, weird press release, and that's something that we can do in-house, let's do that. If he can design an amazing t-shirt and we can do that in-house, let's do that. Because ultimately the finished product is going to be like really representative of who we are.
Of who you are. One other thing that I wanted to ask you, so now you've got this design side that you've done, you have your music side. We haven't really talked about video and sort of editing and just the style of that.
We've always had, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this sense of every song, and this is going to sound like grossly capitalistic or something, but every song is like a product. Every song is sort of the beginning kernel of a product in the design sense. So it's like we can design this entire world around a song that involves web design, music video, like merchandise stuff.
It's self-contained as well. Yeah.
And each song has an identity in like a sort of branding sense. So, you know, sometimes we'll go really deep on that. Like we'll do like a microsite for a song that has special merch that looks like the website. There's like a whole font face that we're doing just for that song. You know, really, we get really granular for sure. And the video is just an extension of that. It creates a world around the song. And we've done, you know.
And usually it starts with the video. Like we're thinking about the video as soon as the song is done.
Right.
Starts with the song, then moves on to the video, then that whole other extracurricular universe around it.
So one of your latest projects that I know we had some involvement in shooting.
That is a good segue.
Was the Triforium project in LA.
God, that's such a great segue. So the Triforium is a monumental piece of interactive art. Built in the 1970s, 1975.
Yeah.
He's better at dates than me.
It was the largest musical instrument ever built and and the most expensive.
6 stories, 60
6 stories, 60 tons. You got it.
Yeah.
Nice. It has 1,494 or 92 hand-blown glass prisms, each which contain an incandescent light bulb. And those were all computer-controlled by a control room underground beneath the Triforium. And the computers never worked properly.
Right. And it had its premiere in 1975,
Yes,
right?
in December of 1975.
Yeah, which was a bit of a disaster. It never worked as intended. It went way over budget in the 70s. It cost $1 million in 1975 to build. It was like politically hugely unpopular, hated by the arts community in Los Angeles, hated by, the taxpayers of Los Angeles.
Right.
Really like a public art pariah, if there ever was one. Right. But we loved the sort of principle of it, which was that there would be this new art form in the future called polyphenoptic art, which would be like light and music in interaction with one another, creating this sort of third form between the two. That would be, I think, the artist called it the Rosetta Stone of art and technology, which is so beautiful and very of the moment.
Right.
I think.
Sure. Yeah.
But in the 70s, like, that was just way too visionary for most people to handle, and the computer system, obviously. I mean, it's the size of 2 refrigerators. It's not something that really worked very well.
And we have footage of you guys like actually going through this original computer system. I mean, and it's really, you get to see like A, how massive it is, B, it's just like wires, and then there was some weird typewriter thing over in the corner.
Teletype
A teletype machine.
I don't know what this does. I mean, we should Google it. What is it called? It's called the teletype.
Yeah. And then look, there's some functions here.
Local.
This refrigerator-sized computer was installed by what's the company called again?
Daytex Corporation.
Conrack
Conrack
Daytex.
Daytex Corporation in El Segundo.
So this was on Valentine's Day, 1975.
And the computer itself are these things right here. These are the computers. And they're connected with color-coded cables to the individual faces of the actual Triforium itself.
So the instrument went through a couple different variations in the, I think, late 80s, early 90s. They switched to a digital chrono bell. So there used to be an actual glass bell carillon and an organist with a 3-tiered organ who would play. Mm-hmm. And that instrument was very hard to maintain, so they replaced it with this digital chrono bell, which a lot of like churches use. I don't know when this is from, but these were the CDs that were loaded in there, including the Top Gun soundtrack, Ally McBeal, Legally Blonde 2, just the weirdest mishmash of music. So yeah, based on this printout, Monday through Friday only, the Triforium, wow, also hyphenated, Triforium, light schedule, push the sequence button, sequence, push the H button, and then nothing happens, but as soon as you touch these, then it starts running them.
Part of the reason the Triforium was a failure is because the instrument, although it was elaborate and custom built and really interesting, it was also like really one note in terms of its tonality. It was like a very sort of strident,
Piercing
glass bell sound, which would play melodies. But like if you hear that for 9 hours a day and you work downtown, like it will drive you crazy. So
it's like Christmas music year round.
So now, it never really worked. It was kind of a disaster, a bit of an eyesore, really, because it was never fully engaged. And then it sat there for the better part of
40
years.
I mean, it's been off and on dormant. The light bulbs burned out. They're incandescent bulbs, so
Right.
obviously they don't.
They had been changing them, right?
We're hoping to replace all those bulbs with LEDs and just get it back and going again, because I
Right.
think a new generation of people will be really excited about the idea of an interactive musical instrument in the heart of the city.
Now, is the goal too to kind of make it sort of like give it like landmarks, like historic landmarks?
We'd love to get it
status,
landmarked.
or-
It's not landmarked. It's it's federally protected because it's public art,
Right.
but
And because of where it is, I guess.
it's in this LA is in flux right now, so it's kind of in this contentious part of downtown that is maybe going to be redeveloped, or definitely going to be redeveloped in the next 20 years. So it's really about moving quickly and making sure people understand the value of this thing before it's possibly torn down.
Right. Well, guys, it's been so awesome having you on the show.
thank you.
And, honestly, it's very refreshing to really kind of re-inspire this idea of just being yourself, do your thing, push it to the edge to see what happens. You have to kind of break some ground, break through some walls to really see what works and what sticks. And you guys have clearly done that. And it's an absolute joy to have you. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. And that is what Make It is all about, showcasing incredible creatives and their amazing talents, their stories, the highs, the lows, the weird, the strange, the accessible, the lovable. It's all here. And you can catch us every week with new people on The Make It Show. So thank you again to Jona and Claire. You can, of course, listen to all of their music on Spotify, Apple Music, and other places where music is streamed or sold.
all the places.
All over
Wherever you
the
want.
place. Catch their videos on YouTube. And it's been an absolute pleasure, guys. All right. See you again. And thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.